Long Jake here with another Umarex Rekt video. In this case, what I am going to be doing is a firing demonstration and endurance test. And what I mean by that is, we are going to showcase exactly how many shots this thing provides on one cartridge of CO2. Basically, is it going to be worthwhile to pack one of these to your local war if they allow CO2 blasters, that is? Is it going to be worth it to pack one of these? And if you did, how many of these cartridges are you going to have to carry on yourself? So I am going to have this done in front of you, and hopefully you're willing to stick around with me for a little bit, because I am just going to fire darts through this until we start to see a huge drop. I do not have a cartridge in right now. This is the cartridge I'm going to insert. And like I mentioned in my introduction to the Rekt blasters, I am going to place a drop of the Crossman pelgun oil. There you see, just right there on the top of it, just a coating. And let's get that. My camera has some focus issues, but oh, there we go. Voila, just a coating. Now, for you to see this, I'm going to go ahead and insert the cartridge into the back, close the rear panel, and then twist the bottom to puncture the cartridge. There we go. It punctured. We'll lock it down. Now, when you do the pelgun oil, what we're going to do is, I need to put the cap on it real quick. You fire a few shots, and you'll see that smoke. So you fire a few shots. I think it's about 5. Okay, so we won't hold those against it. Now, you're going to see a test here on my chronograph. I'll put it to where you guys can see it, and I will just fire away. I'm using a random mix of AccuStrike copies and waffle tip darts, as well as some Nerf Elite copies, and I'm just going to go ahead and fire and keep quiet. Some of those darts have just got the tips blown off of them. When you hear that weird sound, that's what's happening. Throw that dart out. I'm going to pick up the pace here and showcase the rate of fire. There's another bad dart. These are AccuStrike copies that have seen, some of these have seen 2 seasons of use. And like that one there, some of them are starting to have foam issues and they're worn. But this is a pretty good example. Ooh. It's a pretty good example of what you'd expect with worn darts mixed in with some have been replaced and my bin has been added to. I got a bin of about 3,000 here. So I'm just going to keep digging in. We're getting some bad shots and some good ones. I'm going to keep them all in. I believe you guys can see the chronograph just fine. You're going to see some bad shots like that 44 there. That one didn't fire well at all. Same dart. Went from under 10 to 93. Now they claim that it'll hit 90 feet per second, so we are seeing at least around there, except for some of the bad darts. There's 101.1. And I've seen plenty of shots over 100 to offset some of the low shots in my previous couple of cartridges I've fired through it. I am actually out of Umarex cartridges, which I do use. I've been using Crossman cartridges, and the Crossman ones have actually done pretty well. I'm going to leave every single shot in. I will not edit this video, so hopefully you guys don't mind hanging around with me like this. This is my typical testing with any blaster that I do. I don't showcase this, but this is what I do. Ooh, that was terrible. I have seen that this barrel is sensitive. I think that it could benefit from being brassed. And it does have a air restrictor that I can see down there. So something along the modding front is just a simple, I mean, if that is a bog standard air restrictor, well, yank that thing out, brass the barrel, because this is showing itself to be sensitive to darts being worn, damaged, nicked, and that shows signs of a less than ideal barrel fit. And I will take the time to show this, your standard Umarex copy dart. It doesn't actually contact the barrel, the actual barrel section, till that much. That's not a great contact, so I do believe that brassing it would help quite a bit. And on my Crossman cartridges, I was getting all the way up into about 150 shots before I seen any kind of drop off, and then it start to very linearly start to drop off down to around the 200 shot mark, and then I would be getting just barely above elite performance. That hit the chronograph. 96.6. Plenty of shots in the 90s to validate their claim, so I do not think that their claim is exaggerated. And these darts are not new. These are some are new that I've added to the bin, and some are very heavily used. That one there was probably one I need to pull out of the bin. That didn't read. And I'm seeing a number of dart tips landing in my dart net there, so oops. We will keep right on going. There's 103.4. So yeah, I think when it comes time to actually for me to get my full review done, I do believe I will be mentioning that a better barrel would be in line for those of you who actually want to buy these pistols and want to get a little bit more out of them. Because the consistency has shown to be a problem. This is not the first time I've actually sat here and fired off hundreds of shots. I've probably already put probably 500 shots through this pistol here at this point right now. Because we're about to break the 100 shot point on this session here. And shot number 99, terrible shot. Down to 56. Let's check the cartridge. See, I am firing in very fast succession. This is going to be a stress test. If you want your CO2 cartridge, I can actually feel it's cold. And it's actually cold out here in my workshop. If you want to maximize, I'm going to take this break here. This is at the 101 mark. If you want to maximize your CO2 cartridge, you don't fire this fast. This is a stress test though, so that's why I'm doing it. This is subprime conditions. That dart did not fire well. And I do apologize if I sniffle a couple of times. I would normally edit that out, but in this video here, I am going to do this unedited. So I am going to go ahead and apologize a couple times here, because I did seem to catch a little bit of a head cold. There's a 97.3, so that little break where I was talking might have given this cartridge a little more life. I don't believe that. 182.2. With normal chronograph testing, giving it a little time in between shots, I have seen this red pistol they've sent me is so far averaging about 96. So that's been pretty good with new darts. I've gotten between 96 to 108 with brand new name brand darts, whether they're Nerf AccuStrikes, Busby Precise Pros. We're averaging actually up closer to around 110 to 112 when I fired brand new Precise Pros, and the Nerf Elites and Busby long distance darts were actually firing all the way up in the upper 90s. So it's definitely sensitive to dart quality, and I am stressing it out by firing it this rapid succession. But this is showcasing this is something you can do here, you know, to pretty good effect with a single shot pistol, getting a very good rate of fire. But of course this is killing the cartridge. And at this point now, we're at 127. Well, a couple extra, so. And we're down to sub-elite performance. This is with the Umarex cartridge. Normally there's a 75.6. Normally in my air guns, I have pretty good, whether they're pellet or BB firing, I have pretty good reliability out of the Umarex cartridges, and they tend to be clean, as in they don't gunk up on the inside. But yeah, we're consistently down below elite now. It's a 67.1, but the Crossman cartridges, ooh, that dart was shot. Only flopped out of there at 5. Nothing wrong with that dart. There we go. So dart fit to the barrel is definitely important. Making sure that you fully place it and fire it. See, there's 81.6, and that was a newer one. I do have a section of this where I've dumped in about another couple hundred darts that were new. Judging by the foam, this is going to be a part of the new batch. See, we're still at elite performance at about 150 shots now. The Crossman cartridge, see, we're at going about the 15-minute mark here. There's 78.1. The Crossman cartridges, I sat out here for about an hour and just plinked slowly. There's 86.4. and I got far better performance. I'm not necessarily going to attribute that to the cartridge itself, 73.9, but the darts I was using at the time was not my battle bin over here. If you can see that, that's what we're getting into here, is just a bin of 3,000 darts, and these aren't of the quality of my previous test, because my normal chronograph darts are changed out. I use brand new name brand darts and some brand new NF Strike darts, because we all use those. Can't afford to have 3,000 Busby Precise Pros. I wish I could. Or the Worker full lengths. But you can hear at this point now the performance drop. But as long as it gets a good seal, it still seems to be able to spit out. That one's not. I was going to say spit out decent performance. And then it goes and lays a 51, now a 55. So we've passed the 162 mark there. But of course, I fired a few dry shots, which actually use a little bit more CO2. And we've had a number of not read, so we're probably more at the 175 mark. And we're starting to drop significantly. Yay, that's a record. No, that's also a terrible shot there. But yeah, we're down in the 50s fairly consistently now. We're seeing the drop. You can hear the drop in performance at this point. And I will say this again, I can't say it enough, this would be a stress test. This is being run improperly for a CO2 cartridge. Oh, didn't leave the barrel. The dart does not have a rip in the side that I can see. Nope, that's it. It's registering. That's the 75. Of course, mine changes over. It doesn't read triple digits, so that's actually 175 shots. Give or take some misreads here and there. We might be looking at about anywhere from 185 to 190-ish. So that's the showcase of what you can do with the included Umarex cartridge under a stress type test. If you actually are looking to get more shots at higher velocity, you would time between, allow the cartridge to recuperate a little bit, because this thing, flip that open, that's going to be ice cold. Yes, that is ice cold, and it actually has condensation on the outside of it. You can probably see where it's dull over here. Again, my camera is at the point where it's starting to have focus issues, but it's dull over here and shining where I touch because it is actually frosted up a bit. That is using the cartridge improperly. If you fire really fast, you are going to reduce the number of shots that you get out of the cartridge and the velocity of the shots you're getting out of the cartridge. That's just typical with CO2. But if you stuck all the way to the end here, we're at 19 plus minutes. This was intended to be just a video to showcase raw and unedited what you get if you pick up a Rex, throw a cartridge in with the OpSix here, and just fire away. Well, this is the most honest, forthcoming, and like I said, raw and unedited you're going to be able to provide as far as me as a reviewer, to get it to where I can show you what to expect. So there it is, registering 175 shots with a few extras here and there, and at round about the 125 mark or so, it really started to drop off. My review will come up here later this week as I have more time to get my hands on this thing and really evaluate it. But if you stuck all the way to the end, thank you. I really appreciate that. It helps the channel. This is Mongoose Jake, and I do hope you enjoyed this. Hope this is useful to those in the community who are curious what these do. But this is Mongoose Jake, and again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.